Hey guys, Mike here at Automation Tutorials, and welcome back to a new video. All right. Well, guys, I received another subscriber request, and the question that I got today was, can you create a somewhat fancy wooden box built up in layers of different wood types with, a hatch on it and so forth, and with engraving in the wood. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. All right. So we're going to start with one of the side panels, and for that we'll take a polygon cube and we'll just pull that out and we'll keep that nice and thin, something like so. We'll hit F to zoom in. It's a bit thick, so we're going to push it in like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to create two extensions at the end, if you will. All right. So for that, we're going to go to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop Tool, Option Box, Multiple, and we'll do two. And as we add them there, they're automatically going to be centered. Okay. Then we're going to go in our perspective view. We're going to zoom in, right click on a face, select that face, and select that face. All right. And we're going to go to Edit Mesh and Extrude Under Face. Okay. We're going to hit R. We're going to pull that out. And we need to keep in mind that it needs to match our thickness. So we'll figure that out as we move along. Okay, once we got one, we're good. So we'll keep it like that. We're gonna right click on object mode. We're gonna hit Control D to duplicate, E to rotate, and hit Control A for your attribute editor. And we'll do this at -90, like so. We're gonna hit W and we're gonna pull that out. Then we're gonna go to our top view and we're gonna see how our thickness is doing. So we're gonna hit 4. Now that is the thickness for our board, if you will. We're going to move it up there. Once again, I have to zoom in. Okay, so we're going to right click, we're going to go to vertex. We're going to take these two and we're going to bring that in to line that up. And then we're going to right click, go to object mode. And we're going to raise that up as well. I'm just going to hold down D to move my pivot point so I can zoom in a bit better. Hit F to zoom in. And like I said, once we got one of these going on, we're going to align it from that end. And we're going to right click on vertex, take these two, and bring that back in like so. Okay. Now, obviously, we're going to need to do the same at the other end. So we're going to right click, go to object mode, Control D to duplicate, move that over, F to zoom in. And we already know that the dimensions on this extension are good. So we're going to do that. I'm going to select this, right click vertex, take these two, and bring that in. Okay. Now we're going to have the same issue on the other end. So right click object mode, Control D to duplicate, move that out. Go to our top view, have to zoom in. Okay, and that needs to be, actually that's pretty spot on. Okay, so we're going to move in. We're going to select this guy, right click vertex, bring that down like so. Going to move to the right. Let's see, I think I got that one, yep. Right click vertex, take these two, and bring that in. Okay, now we're not there yet because the way that it's connected right now, as you can see, is we need to alter that one, or either that one. Okay, so we'll start at one corner and let's see if we can get a good view on this. We'll move in, and instead of this sticking out, we need these two to stick out. Okay, so we're going to right click at a vertex. So we're going to take these two, we're going to bring that back in, and then we're going to go in, right click, go to face, select these two, and go to edit mesh and extrude. We're going to hit W, we're going to pull that out, check it from this view, hit 4 for wireframe mode, so we can see how far we need to go. So now we know that that connection is fine, which means that we can now, instead of repeating that on this one, we'll take that one out. We'll adjust this one from this end, and then we can duplicate it over. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, so we're going to go to this view. We're going to move in here, and we're going to repeat what we did at the other end. Right click vertex, take these two, bring that back in, and then right click face, take these two, edit mesh, extrude, hit W, pull that out. Okay, check it from this view to make sure that we're aligned. That's fine. And now that we have that one set up, we can right click at our object mode, hit Control D to duplicate, and move it over there. And from our top view, we're going to make sure that it's aligned properly, and we'll check it from this end. All right, so we got that. Now we need to figure out, is this the size for the box that we want? Yes or no? Now I want it to be a bit more rectangular, so what we're going to do is we're going to select the whole deal. I'm going to go to Mesh and Combine, and then for my top view, I can now right click at a vertex, take that and bring that in, maybe to something like that. Okay. All right. Now that's not too bad. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to right click at object mode. We're going to hit Control D to duplicate. And we're going to bring that up. Check it from this view, hit 4 for wireframe mode. And we're going to keep it nice and close. And we're going to hit Shift D, and Shift D. Let's see if that's too much. We'll do, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so, and then we'll use the top one as part of the lid. And then we're going to create a floor for our box. So we'll take a polygon cube. We'll give that some height. We'll bring that in. Have to zoom in. Let's align it with that corner right there. Right click vertex. Bring those in. Take these two. And bring those in. And now let's deal with the height. From this view, we will, let's see, right click object mode. We'll hit R to scale it in to make it nice and flat. And then we'll hit W and we'll raise that up right there. And then we're going to hit Control D to duplicate. Move it up. And then we're going to increase the size somewhat because we want that one to cover everything. So we're going to align it with the top right corner. Right click vertex, bring that out and bring those out. Just want to make sure that it's clean. Yep. And then from this view, right click object mode, bring that down. Okay. Now just to have an idea what the box is and what the lid is, we're going to take these two and bring it up like so. Okay. Now we're going to need to create a latch and hinges and so forth. So let's start with the hinges, and these are going to be quite small. Let's see how we're going to do that. Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a polygon cube, like I said, quite small. We're going to bring that in. I have to zoom in so we can see what's going on. And we'll bring that down. And I'm not going to worry too much about the position right now. And then we're going to take a polygon pipe. We're going to hit R. We're going to scale that down quite a bit. I have to zoom in. Let's give that 30 subdivisions to make it a bit smoother. We're going to hit E. We're going to rotate that over to -90. Okay. Let's move that thing towards our hinge. So we'll go to this view, hit W. We're going to move that over. Have to zoom in. Bring that up here and hit R and scale it down quite a bit and pull it out a bit. Bring it down like so. Control D to duplicate. Bring that over here. And let's just see what we got so far. So we're going to take our little cube here. Go to our top view. Yeah, that's about right. Just trim it a little bit. Take these vertices, bring that in. Okay. So that's going to be one part. And then what we're going to do is we're going to right click on object mode, Control D to duplicate. We're going to bring that up. Like so. We'll take one of these, Control D to duplicate, move that over to the middle, F to zoom in, and R to scale in just slightly. So we have a little bit of space. Okay. Looks like we're good so far. And now we need to create something to go through that hole. Okay. So I'll create a little polygon cylinder, raise that up, hit E and rotate that over to -90. We're going to need to move that into position. So let's move that over here. Have to zoom in, R to scale down. It's probably still too thick, so we'll just first scale it down so it's going to fit. And then we're going to stretch it out. Hit W to move it somewhat. Stretch it out a little bit more. And move that, and then bring it back just a little. Okay. Now you're not really going to see a lot of that, maybe just through these two openings there, but just to be consistent, let's check the position. Okay, so there and there. Just gonna scale it up a bit so we can kind of see where we're at. That's about right. And because of that, we now need to push it back a little. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a polygon sphere and we're going to hit F to zoom in. We're going to hit E to rotate that to -90. And what we'll do is we'll cut that in half. So from this view, right click face, drag select half and hit delete. Okay. Then we're going to right click, take this and let's move that up here. Have to zoom in, R to scale down. We'll keep it slightly smaller. And I need to get this exactly right. So let's just let's try that like this. Okay, can't see anything. So what we can do is align it with our center line right there. Okay, that works for me. All right, we're going to hit Control D to duplicate that. We're going to move it over. We're going to hit E and we're going to rotate that over to 90 degrees. We're going to take that, hit W and bring that in. Have to zoom in. There we go. Now we need to take those two parts and bring them in. So from our top view, make sure that they're positioned correctly. And there you have it. Okay. So that's going to be our hinge. These guys are maybe a bit thick, so mesh combine. We're going to hit, modify center pivot. Let's push that in and make that a bit thinner. Okay. Now we're going to select the whole thing. Mesh combine, modify center pivot. And let's move that towards our box. Have to zoom in. That would be about there. And now we're just going to check to make sure that they're not too big. Yeah, that works. Okay. Now we're probably going to position the lid open when we're done. But for now, we're going to leave it like this so we can position that later. Okay. Now that hinge is in place, so we need to create our second hinge. So Control D to duplicate. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that's good so far. All right, then on the front, okay, we're going to create another polygon cube. We're going to raise that up. And what we're going to do is we are going to go to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop Tool option box, 2, add it right there, hit R, push that in, like so. And then we're going to go back to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop Tool once again. We'll add 2 there. We're going to hit R and we're going to stretch them out like so. And then we're going to right click on a face. And we're going to take that face and go to Edit Mesh, Extrude, hit W and pull that out. like so. We're going to right click at an edge, take that edge and that edge, and go to Edit Mesh and Bevel under Edge. And then what we'll do is we'll hit Control A for our object mode, Control A. We're going to go to our Poly Bevel, and we're going to increase segments to, let's say, 2, that's fine. And let's change the fraction a bit, like so. And then we're going to right click at a face, take this face and this face, edit mesh, extrude under face. We're going to tweak the offset to about 0.1. And then we're going to hit G to repeat and R to scale in. And I'll push them in like so, which will give us that. And then we're going to go in and we're going to take that one and hit delete. And take that one and hit delete. All right. Now we're going to smooth this one a little bit. So we're going to go back to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop Tool, Option Box. We're going to go to Single. We're going to add an edge loop up there, one down there, and don't get too close to the edge. We'll do one here, one here, one there, one there. Let's see what we got. We'll do one here and one there, one here and one there. Q on our keyboard, right click object mode and hit 3 to smooth out. Okay, that needs a little bit of work on these edges here. So hit 1 to go back. Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop Tool. We'll add one there, and one there, one there, and one there. Hit Q again on your keyboard, right click Object Mode, and hit 3 to smooth that out. Much, much better. Okay. All right, so we got that. We're going to right click on Object Mode. We're going to hit W, we're going to move it in, and we're going to move it up. First, let's make sure that's centered. And make sure it's not too large. So let's scale it down just a bit. And bring that up. And there we go. All right. So now we can kind of see what's going on with these guys. And this one needs to come in just a bit. Okay. All right. So now we've got that. We're going to move to the next part. And for that, we need to bring the lid down. So we're going to take these two, and I'll actually go to Mesh and ready go, combine. W to move down. So it's easier to position. That looks about right. Okay. And we're going to create a latch for that. So how we're going to do that, we're going to start with a polygon cube. Give that a little height, and bring it up, and bring that in. And that is going to need to fit into that opening, obviously. So we're going to hit R, we're going to make that nice and thin, like so. We're going to W, we're going to move that out. And then from this view, we're going to start to model that. This appears to be in the opening, but I'll just check. That's better. All right. So that's our starting point. All right. So we're going to have it stick out a little bit from that end. So we're going to right click our vertex on this guy only. Right click vertex. Come on. That happens now and then. I'm not sure why. Because I got that guy in the background. All right. So that's fine. Just pull it out here. Right click vertex. Bring that in to about there. And then we're going to go in, hit F, right click face, edit mesh, extrude, hit W and pull that out. And that is actually the wrong side. So Control Z, Control Z. This one, edit mesh, extrude, hit W and pull out. Okay. So now we can right click, go to object mode, bring that guy back in to about there. All right. I'm gonna make sure that we're in face mode. Where is my object? Oh, there it is. Why is that thing mirrored? Sorry about that, guys. Edit mesh, extrude. Sorry for the mix-up. Okay, object mode. Bring it in here. Right-click face. We've got that one, and now we're ready to go. Okay, so looks a bit weird because we're looking at this from the back. That's the problem. Okay, so we're going to rotate that a little bit. We're going to G to repeat, W to pull out, and rotate that some more. G to repeat, W to pull out, and rotate that some more. GW, rotate that some more, and we'll tweak these vertices in a minute, okay? GW, and rotate some more. GW, and we'll rotate that a little bit more. GW, we're going to start to rotate back just a little. GW, we want to get pretty much vertical based on this here. Rotate that some more. GW, bring that straight up. And GW, bring that straight up, okay? So now that we have that, let's try and tweak some of these vertices here, okay? So we'll bring this one down a bit. Oops. This we're gonna bring in. And just try to get towards a somewhat rounded shape. Okay, and we are going to smooth this, so not quite there yet. Let's just give that a try and see what we've got. Okay. So right-click Object Mode, hit 3 to smooth it out. We're going to need to tweak it a little, but we're getting somewhere. Okay, hit 1 to go back. Now at the top here, I want to alter that shape a little bit. So Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop Tool, Option Box. We're still at single, which is fine. We'll do one there. And then we'll do multiple, and we'll do 3 there, like so, and 3 there. Hit Q on our keyboard. We're going to right click our vertex, and then we're going to go to this view. And it looks like they all need to be tweaked a little bit. So we're going to go to Edge. We're going to take these edges, and we're going to hit E, and we're going to slightly rotate them. And then right click vertex. I'm going to bring those up, bring that one up. And then we're going to take these 3 and these 3. And we're going to hit R, and we're going to start to scale that out. And then take these 2, scale it out some more. Kind of tricky to get this thing to look decent. We're going to rotate this guy a little bit. Just need to spend a little bit more time on this, guys. Okay, that's a bit better. All right. Right click Object Mode, hit 3 to smooth it out. That's not too bad. Okay. All right, then what we're going to do is we're going to flip to the back, and we're going to borrow one of these guys. So we're going to go to Mesh and Separate. Then we'll take this guy, Control D to duplicate, W to move over there. Oh, that's a bit far. We're going to go to Modify Center Pivot, F to zoom in, E to rotate. Hit Control A for your attribute editor, and make sure you're at 90. And then we're going to take that and W, move that in from our front view. We're going to move that up here. Have to zoom in, and we're going to want that to be about there. Size-wise, it looks okay. Now just bring it in. Have to zoom in. Like that. And we're going to need to have a kind of a panel to hold that latch. So we're going to create another rectangular cube. That sounds weird, rectangular cube, but you know what I mean. Okay. We're going to tweak it based on the size down there. So we're going to bring it out, right click vertex. We're going to take that in. We're going to take these, bring that down to, let's say, right there. Take these, we'll bring that up to about there. Now let's deal with the position and the thickness. Right-click Object Mode. We're almost done with the modeling section, guys. Okay. Now, as far as thickness is going, we need to take this one out a little bit. So face, edit mesh, extrude, hit W and pull that out. I have to zoom in. Let's check that from the top. That looks all right. Okay. Now the one down here is smoothed out a little bit, so we're going to do the same here. So we're going to go to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop Tool, Option Box. We'll do 2 in the multiple. Hit R, scale them out. Insert Edge Loop Tool, do 2 here. Scale them out, like so. Q on our keyboard, right-click Object Mode, and 3 to smooth. All right. That looks straight and all right. Okay. So that's our box. Now let's get into texturing. First, we're going to right-click. We're going to go to Face on the top here. We're going to go to Edit Mesh, Extrude. We're going to tweak the offset to about there. Okay. Then we are going to hit G to repeat, W to pull down. And now you need to be careful to do a very minimal movement. G to repeat. We're going to pull the offset once again, but from our top view, we're going to make sure that that's minimal. So let's do 0.05. That's about right. Okay. And then G to repeat, W to raise up again. And again, very minimal. Okay. And from this point of view, you can see how far you need to go, which is right there. So we're aligned. Okay. Cool. All right. Now, we probably will have to do some UV mapping. We're not going to UV map everything. That's going to take way too long. It's not necessary because we're going to work with this as is. So what we're going to do is, let's see what we got. Now, first we are going to right click, go to object mode. We're going to take these guys and we're going to go to mesh and separate because I want to have my individual elements. Okay. So we're going to take this guy. We're going to right click, assign new material. We'll do a blend so we can make it somewhat reflective at some point. Let's see, I got quite a lot of history going on. Okay, so that's our blend. We're going to hit our color checker here. We're going to go to File, Folder, and I got 2 different types of wood that I want to use. So I'm going to take this one, and looks like my wood grain is working out fine. That's kind of what I was hoping for, because that means that it's going to save us a lot of work. All right. Now I'm going to skip up to this one. Right click, assign existing material, blend 2, and we'll go to this one. And again, mesh separate. We'll take this guy, assign existing material, blend 2. Okay. We'll do the same over here. So this one, and this one. Existing material, blend 2. All right. Then we're going to move in. We're going to take this one and this one, assign new material, again, a blend. checkered box, file, folder, and we're going to need the other one. Okay. The grain direction is good. We do have some opening in the wood, but that's from our lid. Just checking on these heads here. That looks okay. Just want to see if that's what I'm going for. Yeah, looks okay. All right. So we're going to do the same here. 1 and 2. Assign existing material, blend 3. We're going to take this one, this one, and this one. This one, this one, this one. Blend 3. And take that one and that one. That one and that one. Existing material, blend 2. Okay. Then we're going to go to the bottom, which is our floor right here. And it's selected, yep. Assign new material, existing material, sorry. We'll do blend 2 as a contrast. And it looks okay. So that's nice. Something going on with my windows apparently. All right. Then we need to have contrasting material on the top here. So we're going to take this, right click on a face. Actually what I'll do is I'll right click on an object and I'll take that lid and assign existing material. We'll do blend 2 and that one I need to UV as you can see. Okay, it looks off. All right, so let's do that. So we got the top selected there. We're going to create UVs. Let's try automatic mapping and see what we get. It's actually not bad. And we're going to change this one on the inside. But I want this to look like separate elements. Okay, so right click object mode, edit UV, UV texture editor. And let's see what we got here. I'm going to right click on a shell, take that. Okay. Now, that's all in the same direction, and I don't really want that, right? I want it to be cut on these edges here. So I'm going to right click, go to edge, select that edge, and select cut, and cut, and cut, and cut. So now if I right click and go to shell, and I take this, I should be able to move that like so. And that's exactly what I want. Same with this one. Same with that one. Same with that one. Okay. So that's all fine. What we're going to do now is we are going to go to polygons and layout to position it right there. And now we can focus on how we want the wood grain to look. So we're going to start with this one right there. That's the one down there in the right corner. Okay. So right click shell, this one. I want that to rotate because I want my wood grain facing that way. And I'll just move that up here. Okay. We'll take the next one. Right click face. I want that one to rotate as well. So my wood grain is facing that way. And I'll just move it up here for a sec. We're going to take this one, right click face, and again, rotate, rotate. I'll move that up here. And this one over here, right click face, and also rotate and rotate. Okay, so I got all that. Now this one right here is going to change. I don't want that material. I'm going to change the material on that one. And let's see what else we got going on. We got these sides here. So that. And logically speaking, I would need to rotate that as well. So there we go. Same with this guy. Select it. Rotate, rotate. Same here. rotate, rotate, and same here, face, and rotate, rotate. Okay, so I'm not going to bother with the little edge in here, and we're going to change that main face in the middle there, so that looks all good. And what I am going to do is I'm going to position them into my UV space. So right-click shell. Let's see if we can move this around a bit. I'm not going to click on layout because it's going to rotate that stuff back. I don't really want that. So let's see if we can fit this stuff in here. Move that to the corner. Move that over here. And try to avoid overlap, obviously. So let's see what this is one of these thin edges, so I can actually rotate that because we're not going to notice, and that will help me to move it here. And then we'll take right-click shell, we'll take these and see if we can move them in this space, and it looks like we can. Cool. Okay. So we have that. Then we're going to focus on this top face here. Assign existing material. That will be, I think, blend 3, yes. And I actually don't want the grain to face in this direction, I think. So let's look at that. Edit UV texture editor. That's that guy. Rotate, rotate. Let's see what looks better. Actually, I'm going to do that. Okay, cool. All right, so that's that. We're going to apply some texture to our latches and so forth. So we're going to take these and that. We're going to swivel to the back. We're going to take these components as well. We're going to hit 4 for wireframe mode because we need to get that little axle thing in the middle here. I was afraid that was going to happen. Actually, the quickest way to do this is right-click object mode. We're going to take our box and our floor, and we're going to hit Control H to hide it. We can take all this stuff, right-click assign a material. Let's go with MIA Material X, Material tab, Presets, Copper, and replace 75%. And I'm going to go back to Display, Show All to get all my elements back, and we'll hit the checkered ball there. Okay, not quite there yet. What we're going to do is we're going to apply an engraving on the top. Okay. Now, for that, what we're going to do is, I'm kind of a, Western fan, if you will. So we're going to search something like a cowboy scene. Just need to tweak these latches a little bit. You can see that they're sticking out on the top. So I'm going to bring the lid of the box down a bit. Let's see. Okay, so we'll take this, and I'm not sure I got everything. Looks like I do not. And I'll hit 4 just to be sure. That's a bit better. Okay. And then we're going to take these two latches. This one doesn't seem to be combined. Okay, and that looks all good. Okay, so we want to have the engraving on the top. For that, we're going to do a normal map, and we're going to do it on this surface right there. Now, first we need to create one. Okay, so I'm going to go to Google, and I found this image here. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to right click and save image as, and I'll save it on my desktop, and I'll call it cowboy. Okay, and save. Now I'm going to go into Photoshop, File, Open. I'm going to look for my cowboy. There he is. And in my Quixel suite, I'm going to open Undo. And if you don't have Quixel suite, there are other applications that you can use to change images into normal maps. I think one of them is called Pixel Bump, and some of them are actually free. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to click on Photo Normals Presets. Actually, I'm not. I'm so sorry. I'm going to click on this right here. Let me think. Yeah, sorry. That was actually correct. Okay. Now, we're talking about a wood grain, so I'm going to look for flat wood, and I'm going to apply this to the active document. As you can see, lots of stuff is going on. It's calculating, creating layers, and so forth. So we'll just let that go for a sec. And not every image is always suitable for something like this. So let's tweak the detail a little bit and just see what looks best. We still have to be able to see that it's a cowboy, right? So actually that's pretty nice. Hopefully that will work out for us, okay? So I'm gonna go to File and Save As, and I'll call this Cowboy Normal. I'm gonna save it as a JPEG, and I'm gonna save it on my desktop. Okay, and okay. We're gonna go back into Maya, and I want this to be applied to the top here. Now, there's one little issue that if I do this, my normal map is going to be everywhere. So I need to apply a new blend for this specific face here. So we'll take that face, assign new material, we'll do a blend. Okay, then we're going to go into our checker box, we're going to select File, Folder like we did before. We're going to look for our wood, that's the wood that we used. So now we have a new blend material with this on top of it. So now we can select that face, there we go. We're going to go and find our blend 4. We're going to go into bump mapping. We're going to select another file. We're going to change the use not as a bump map but as a tangent space normal. And we're going to decrease the bump depth to, let's say, 0.2. Okay. Then we're going to go to File, Folder. We're going to look for our cowboy normal. Hit OK. And as you can see, we need to position it. Okay. So right click face, there we go. We're going to go to Edit UVs, UV Texture Editor. And as you can see, that is the shell up here. Now, if we turn on our texture, you can see that the whole wood thing is going on there. So we need to scale this to fit our 0 to 1 space. Okay. So we're going to move that over. And we're going to hit R. I'll just turn this off so we can see what's going on. And we're going to start to fit that, and we also need to rotate it. So rotate, rotate. I think that's the correct angle, but we'll see. And let's see what we can do here. Okay, we're going to hit W, we're going to bring it down a bit. And then we're going to scale it up a bit more. And then we're going to scale it in. And like I said, we have to wait and see if the image is going to work for us. It's actually not too bad. Looks a bit stretched. And we're going to hit R. We're going to stretch that out a little bit more to improve that. And now the image is facing that way. So we're going to rotate, rotate. Rotate, rotate. Okay. So now it's facing the front, which is good. So here is our cowboy and our horse. All right. And now let's start to set up some rendering. Okay. We'll close this out. We'll take a plane and we'll stretch that out big time. We don't want to see anything but that. We're going to set up our resolution gate. And let's find a nice angle for our wooden box. Okay. We're going to go to View, Bookmark, Edit Bookmark, New. So we have that position saved. Okay. And close. We're going to go to our render settings. Just open that up. In our Common tab, we are going to go to HD 1080. And we're going to go all the way down to Render Options. And we're going to turn off Enable Default Light. Okay. Then we're going to go to Mental Ray. In our Quality tab, let's increase that to about 1.5. In our indirect lighting, we're going to set up image-based lighting and global illumination. And then we're going to minimize this. I'm going to select an HDRI file. So I'm going to go to Documents, Maya, and HDRI. I got one that I like very much, which is Arches. So that's set. We're going to right-click, go to Face, assign new material on the floor, and we'll do a Fong E, and we'll make that white. Let's go to our, let's see, I just need to tweak something on my HDRI, so we'll create that again. So there's my arches, and I'm going to select Emit Light under Light Emission, which is kind of handy because that's what it's for. View, Bookmark, New, we're back there. I'm going to go to Create Light and select the point light. Hit 7 on my keyboard so I can see my light. Hit W, pull that up. And let's pull that out and up a little bit. Hopefully we're not going to see too much reflection going on. We're going to hit Control D to duplicate that, pull that out over here, and decrease the intensity to about 0.1. Go to View, Bookmark, New, and let's give this a test render. I'll pause the video, see you guys in a sec. All right, guys, well, there you have it. There's our final render, and I'm gonna do a couple of render shots from various angles, and I'll post it on my Facebook page so you can see it from different views. But in general, that's the technique. At least that's the technique that I used. So I hope you liked the video. If you got any questions, let me know, as always. And that said, thank you guys for watching, and love to see you guys again. Bye.